Hello, let's start with chapter number 12 from your textbook Magnetism. Chapter will be there for 4 marks without option and for 6 marks with option in your question paper. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about something related to magnetism and properties, types of magnet and their properties too. We know that what is magnet? What is magnetism? Which property generally considered as the magnetic property? What is magnetic lines of force? What is magnetic field? And I think we all are known about these all basic concepts. Basically, electricity and magnetism represent different aspects of the same fundamental force field. Every magnet, regardless of its size and shape, has two poles called North Pole and South Pole. If a magnet is broken into two or more pieces, then each piece behaves like an independent magnet with somewhat weaker magnetic field. Thus, isolated magnetic monopoles do not exist. The search for magnetic monopoles is still going on. Like magnetic poles repel each other, unlike poles attract each other. When a bar magnet or a magnetic needle is suspended freely or pivoted, it aligns itself in geographically north-south direction. You can see it over here. There are two poles. They produce magnetic lines of forces or magnetic field lines. The force with which a magnetic poles of a magnet attracts or repels another magnetic pole for another magnet is called magnetic force. The space or region around a magnet within which magnetic force is exerted on other magnet is called magnetic field of the magnet. The basic definition: the space or a region around a magnet or a current carrying wire within which its influence can be felt by another magnet is called magnetic field. Generally, we denote it by B. To locate the magnetic field of a bar magnet, we use iron filings or a magnetic compass. When a magnetic compass is far away from a magnet, it is not deflected. However, when a magnetic compass is closer to the magnet, it is deflected. So, the space or a region around a magnet within which a magnetic compass is deflected is again known as the magnetic field, but it is for the bar magnet in that field. Magnetic field is represented by a series of lines around a magnet. These lines represent the paths of an imaginary independent pole if it were allowed to move freely in the direction of magnetic force. The path along which unit north pole moves in a magnetic field is called magnetic field line. It's called magnetic field line. You can see it over here. There are few properties also of this line. Let's discuss one by one. Generally, we already studied the properties of electric lines of forces. In a similar manner, magnetic lines of force originate from North Pole and it aims at the South Pole. The magnetic lines of force or magnetic field lines are helpful to show the direction and strength or intensity of a magnetic field. The direction of the magnetic field at any particular space is the direction in which the north pole of a magnetic compass needle points if placed at that point. The strength of a magnetic field is shown by how much close these lines are to each other in their respective manner. There are few properties also. The magnetic lines of force of a magnet or a solenoid form closed loops. This is in contrast to the case of an electric dipole, where the electric lines of force originate from the positive charge and end on the negative charge. The direction of the net magnetic field at a point is given by tangent to the magnetic line of force at that point. The number of lines of force crossing per unit area decides the magnitude of the magnetic field. The magnetic lines of force do not intersect because had they intersected, the direction of magnetic field would not be unique at that point. In other words, magnetic fields are cross-continuous curves. Magnetic field lines emerge from a magnet at N pole and enter the magnet at S pole. The tangent at any point of the magnetic field lines give the direction of the magnetic field at that point. No two magnetic field lines can intersect each other. Magnetic field lines are crowded, that is, they are close to each other in the region of weak magnetic field. Density of lines of force, that is, number of lines of force per unit area around a particular point, determines the strength of magnetic field at that point. Generally, we call it as a flux. The number of lines of force is called magnetic flux. Therefore, magnetic field can be represented as magnetic flux per unit area. The symbol for flux is phi. So B is equal to phi divided by A. For phi, the unit is Weber. For area, it's meter square. Therefore, SI unit of magnetic field is Weber per meter square. We called it as a Tesla. The relation between Tesla and Gauss is given by 1 Tesla is equal to 10 raised to 4 Gauss. I hope you all understood till this point. This everything is considered as the introductory part related to magnetic field and magnetic lines of field or forces. Moving towards next point. The next point is the bar magnet. A bar magnet is a rectangular piece of an object made up of iron, steel or any other ferromagnetic substance or ferromagnetic composite that shows permanent magnetic properties. It has two poles, a north and a south, such that when suspended freely, the magnet aligns itself so that the northern pole points towards the magnetic north pole of the earth. There are few types of bar magnet also. A bar magnet is said to have the magnetic pole strength plus Q and minus Q at north and south pole respectively. Let us consider they are separated with the distance 2L inside the magnet. We are going to discuss these few basic things related to this and according to this diagram. Starting with magnetic dipole. As the bar magnet has two poles with equal and opposite pole strength, it is called magnetic dipole. Second point, magnetic dipole moment. As the bar magnet has two poles, we already discussed that there is always equal and opposite pole strength. This is analogous to an electric dipole. When we consider any one pole strength with the distance between south and north pole, it is called as magnetic dipole moment. It is given by Q into 2L or Qm into 2L. This is a vector quantity because of 2L represents the vector form of distance from south pole to north pole. SI unit of this pole strength is ampere meter. SI unit of magnetic dipole moment is ampere meter square. Next point, axis. It is a line passing through both the poles of bar magnet. There is only one axis for a given bar magnet. Equator. A line passing through the center of a magnet and perpendicular to its axis is called magnetic equator. The plane containing all equators is equatorial plane. The locus of point on the equatorial plane which are equidistant from the center of magnet is equatorial circle. Such a circle with any diameter is an equator. And last point, that is magnetic length. The distance between two poles of a magnet is called magnetic length. There is relation between magnetic length and geometric length. Underline this equation, very important for MCQ as well as numericals. Magnetic length is equal to 5/6 into geometrical length. We are going to discuss one small equation derivation for magnetic field due to a bar magnet at a point along its axis and at a point along its equator. Here we are we are going to consider a bar magnet generally having dipole length 2L, magnetic dipole moment m bar. Now we are going to find out magnetic field at a point P along the axis of bar magnet. You can see it over here. We are going to find out magnetic field at this point P. Now, as we all know that the distance of south pole or north pole from the center O is always equal. So if Sn is equal to 2L, then Os is equal to On is equal to L. Now, you can see it over here. If I join these 2 points, Sp and Np, if the value of On or Os is L and value of this Op is equal to R, then we can easily find out value of Np or Sp with the Pythagoras theorem. It will become either in triangle ONP or in triangle OSP. We can use that theorem and find out value root of R square plus L square for both NP and SP. Now for the large distance R is greater than N. It means when we consider magnetic field due to a bar magnet at a large distance, then R will be much greater than L. Here we are going to consider the electric field due to the electric dipole with its dipole moment. Now we know that electric dipole having length 2L and electric dipole moment is given by Q into 2L. Now at distance R along with the dipolar axis, we are going to consider dipole moment is given by Q into 2L. Now we know that value of E is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught 2p upon R cube. We already studied this point in last chapter. When we are going to consider R is much greater than L, this value will become the electric field on an equator is the antiparallel to P and it is given by E equatorial is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P upon R cube, again when it is greater than L. Now we can write the axial magnetic field of a bar magnet at a distance R, BA is equal to plus mu naught upon 4 pi 2m upon R cube. Similarly, for equatorial magnetic field, it is given by B equatorial is equal to minus mu naught upon 4 pi m upon r cube. Now this negative sign shows that the direction of equatorial field is opposite to bar m. For the same distance from the center O of a bar magnet, B axial is equal to 2 into B equatorial. We already had discussion on these both equations in last or previous chapter. There also we derive this relation between magnetic fields. Again here we are with the same equation, that is one is with mu naught upon 4 pi 2m upon r cube. Another one is minus mu naught upon 4 pi m upon r cube. So this B axial and B equatorial having relation, B axial is equal to 2 into B equatorial. We are going to stop here for right now. In tomorrow's lecture, we are going to discuss about magnetic field due to a bar magnet at an arbitrary point. Then we are going to discuss about Gauss law of magnetism, Earth's magnetism and their properties too. Let's stop here for today. Thank you.